This one's
some sort of purse. Wallet purse thing.
Yeah, Jeremiah. And
So Jeremiah, a
Dale.
lady.
Hey, there's some weird going on here, you know?
Sometimes the scariest moments aren't planned. You set up camp, expecting peace under the stars. But then you hear footsteps outside your tent, whispers in the dark, or the shuffle of someone or something watching. Whether it's a wild animal, a stranger, or someone living off the grid, these 6 campers accidentally filmed their worst nightmare. They showed up with a camera and a head full of questions, ready to poke around the so-called cursed woods. Folks in town talked about strange lights, whispered about old rituals, and sometimes said they felt eyes on them, something hidden, just out of sight. For Jasko and his friend, it sounded like the usual ghost hunting stuff. Another night, another creepy forest. That is, until the woods started pushing back. Rain hammered down, thunder cracked over the hills, and then they found it. A clearing that looked too neat, too clean.
There's this one area that looks like it was specifically cleared up. Now, this is old, a little bit, because the wax is all hard and whatnot. But as you can see there, 10 wax candles, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Bro? No.
No.
Bro, we just got here. We just got here.
Wax dripped in weird patterns across the ground, with half-melted candles everywhere. Right in the middle, a star drawn in thick red wax that had cooled and hardened. The air felt strange and heavier, and there was this faint, sharp smell. Burnt resin, maybe. Tension prickled at their skin. They started filming, and that's when a whisper slid into the mic. Nobody said a word. Not when it happened, not after. They played the recording back again and again. The voice was there, soft and garbled, but it wasn't anyone from their team.
Oh.
There it goes. Alright, well, we had fun.
Mate. Impression. Now, I was warned about one thing.
People had warned them, stories about cults, about places you're better off leaving alone. Warnings don't mean much until they light up in front of you, bright in your flashlight's beam. The two pressed on, following a narrow trail marked with odd symbols. Then their spirit detector app flickered, buzzed, and just died. Right after, they found it. A small purse, half buried in the mud, the edge all charred.
This one's
some sort of purse. Wallet purse thing.
That looks like it's been there for a long time.
Something's in here.
Or maybe
something
it's just...
thick.
Yeah, Jeremiah. And
So Jeremiah, a
Dale.
lady.
Inside, a photo of a woman. Not old, not faded, fresh. It felt wrong. The Spirit Talker app, which had been dead, suddenly came alive. They found 2 words when Jazz picked up the wallet: lady and Jeremiah. No one said anything. The forest, which had once been just noise, now felt alive. Every rustle and gust sounded like a warning.
What did the spirit book say? Lady and Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Is that a lady and is that Jeremiah?
Hey, yeah, it could be. I mean, that's a lady. Could be Jeremiah. Cell phone?
Oh, is there a phone in here too? Hold on. No, it's the only thing in here. But I noticed something too.
The storm got worse. Water seeped into their tent, and something moved outside, slow and heavy. Voices came and went between the thunder. One sounded human. The other didn't. Then footsteps started circling their tent, slow and deliberate. They shone their flashlight, but all they got was fog and shifting shadows.
Hey, there's some weird shit going on here, you know?
That? Who's there?
And right when they thought the night couldn't get stranger, something huge crossed their path. Earlier, on the drive-in, their headlights had picked out a shape tall as a doorframe, maybe taller, crossing the road fast. Both Jazz and Ben saw it. Neither wanted to talk about it. The thing was too solid, too real, not a trick of the light.
We didn't tell him the weird
No.
part about tonight.
What happened? Bro, I'm freaked out.
Back at camp, hours later, something big pressed against the tent. It circled, just out of sight. Maybe it was the storm, maybe nerves, maybe something else. But one thing was clear. This wasn't just another haunted woods story. Out here, the forest felt aware, and tonight it wanted them gone. This next clip, shared by Grizzly Gaz, is one of the scariest camping experiences ever recorded. Gaz and his dog Fenzel trekked into a familiar woodland, camera in hand, ready to spend a night at their semi-permanent camp.
Now then, we're out again in a large localish woodland where I've got a bit of a semi-permanent camp, and we're losing, well, not losing light, but we'll be losing light soon. Hey up. Wood pigeons found me already. Always wakes me up, that, no matter where I am. Look, there she is, look. Ah, Fenzel. Come on in. But it's about 7:45 at night. Oh, look at this. Looks like some knobbers have been here. Left a right mess. Look at the state of it. Burnt mattresses and that. Looks like this isn't a decent spot for me to camp anymore. Look, they've been sawing trees down and that. What the
Locals whispered about odd noises and eerie happenings, but it sounded like typical forest tales, just another night under the trees. It did not stay like that for long.
Oh, it started raining now as well. I've half got the tent up, look. But I have brought a tarp with me as well. So I need to get this up. Having to clear all that crap up, sort fire pit out, find me grill, set tent up. But the tent, I forgot. Ben from Daily Outdoors, real good lad, he sent me the mesh inner. Don't normally drink, but because of what happened last time I were here, go try find some dry firewood. Right, let's see if we can get this going, shall we? Let's off. Get some of this oak in the bottom. Don't just try to use what them idiots have cut down and that.
Rain started spitting as dusk settled, the sky bruising above the canopy. Gaz reached the camp only to find it trashed. Burnt mattresses, toilet rolls strewn about, and a shopping trolley dumped in the stream below. The air felt sour with disrespect, the site he'd used for years now scarred by careless intruders.
Why is it not setting up properly how it used to do? And then I realised they'd cut down a tree over there. So it took me ages to suss that out. What's that noise? I think it's about time we got these chicken breasts on. Oh dear. Get them on there, look.
Setting up his tent and hammock, he wrestled with a forgotten mesh inner, the rain complicating things further. The wind picked up, carrying a chill that clung to his skin. He cracked a beer, seeking calm, but the forest seemed to hum with unease, the distant coo of a wood pigeon sounding too sharp, too close.
Right, that's us pretty much done for night, innit, mate? So I'm testing out the oh, look at the state of that. Big old spider in here. Harvestman. That's what you get for leaving the anyway, we're gonna chill out now, and I'll see you in the morning. What the f is that?
He coaxed a fire to life, the flames flickering against the damp. But the woods weren't quiet. A rustle, then a snap, twigs breaking in the dark.
Come on, someone's with us. I've got to be with us, haven't they? Holy
The noise was too heavy for a deer, too deliberate. He froze, straining to hear over the wind's howl. It sounded like a pig's grunt, but Yorkshire had no wild pigs. His mind raced. People messing around? Or something else? His camera showed something glowing near the hammock. The night grew heavier. A sharp sound cut through, like boots crunching nearby. Gaz grabbed his knife, heart pounding, whispering to Fenzel to stay close. The wind drowned out details, but the noises felt alive, circling just beyond the firelight. Was it the storm playing tricks, or something watching from the shadows?
I know it's someone with me. Got a big dog here. And a nice knife with your name on it. What the f***? Fendi's not even getting out of the tent. What the f*** going on with this wind? What's up, mate? Not even moving. Is it just wind or what? Am I paranoid?
Hours later, another snap echoed, louder, closer. The air felt thick, like the forest was holding its breath. Gaz's torch caught nothing but swaying branches, yet the sense of being watched grew sharper.
Kept hearing twigs breaking or branches breaking. You alright, mate? It's alright, chill out. And I heard it sounded like a pig, but we ain't got any pigs over here. In England, well, not that I know of anyway. They succeeded for a bit. That wind's picking up again.
Fenzil, unbothered, slept on, but Gaz couldn't shake the feeling that the woods wanted him gone.
Give up. Just stop a minute. Anyway, I'm gonna see. Hi, I can hear you.
Morning broke, rain finally easing. Exhausted, Gaz emerged to find the camp untouched, save for a chewed stick on the ground. No tracks, no signs, just the lingering weight of the night. He packed up, vowing to clean the trashed site, but the strange grunts and snaps stuck with him. The forest had spoken, and it wasn't welcoming.
Well, good morning. If you can say good morning. It's only just stopped raining now. I've been awake. I've seen that's damaged is this that was on the floor, this stick. Looks like it's been chewed a bit. But for now, I'm just going to get my tent and me tarp and that packed away. If you could hear them noises on the video, then let me know what it is. It did sound like a pig, but we don't have any wild pigs in.
As the sun dipped low over the Surrey Hills, Will pulled his car into the National Trust car park at the top of Box Hill. He knew the area well from his younger days, when he worked at a nearby restaurant. Tonight, he planned a quiet solo camp in his car, tucked away near the forest edge. Earlier, he'd cooked fajitas with a friend on his outdoor platform, but now he was alone as the temperature began to drop.
Anyway guys, welcome back to another video. Earlier, as you saw, I cooked and had some delicious fajitas with a friend of mine. We went for a walk and then we were starving hungry, so I ended up having a nice early dinner, used my outside cooking platform, which a lot of you guys probably haven't seen because, to be honest, I haven't used it a lot because the weather just hasn't been nice for it. I have a few upgrades and things to show you guys, which I know some of you will definitely be interested in. I now have a carbon monoxide alarm, believe it or not, right here. Anyway, as I was saying, I am in a very familiar place. I actually used to live in this area with my parents a good few years ago now, and I used to work at a restaurant just round the corner, which is where I had my first ever job when I was about, how old? 16, 17 years old. I'm in the beautiful countryside of Box Hill, which is in the Surrey Hills in the south of the UK. Tonight I'm actually going to be sleeping in the National Trust car park, right at the top next to Box Hill Viewpoint. I would highly recommend this place, not only just to sleep in for the night, well, I haven't actually stayed here yet, so watch the rest of the video to see how I get on, but in terms of walking your dogs or just going for a walk and getting out into nature and the countryside, this is a great place to come.
He set up inside, a sleeping bag, a new carbon monoxide alarm in the corner, and window deflectors to let in fresh air without rain. The car park had a few other vehicles, probably people out for the evening.
Tonight's setup, As it always is, always the same from now on. I may do a few upgrades, but I'm not fully decided yet. As you saw, got the carbon monoxide alarm, and you won't be able to see, or maybe you can see, I also now have some window deflectors on each of the 4 windows, which means I can crack the windows 1 to 2 inches, which will stop any rain coming in and will at least get some oxygen flowing inside of here so that it's a bit more well ventilated. I'll quickly show you what it looks like from the outside. I'm literally parked as far back into the forest as I can. There's a few other cars in this National Trust car park.
As darkness fell, the cold settled in, down to 3 degrees now, and headed for -1 by morning. Will locked the doors except the boot and cracked the windows slightly. He felt comfortable at first, familiar with the spot.
Exploring the world, and hopefully plenty more adventures to come in the future, and for sure plenty more to share with you guys. Tomorrow morning, when it gets a bit cold, which I know it will for sure, as we're looking at about -1, I've decided to put my gas portable stove just sitting on the boxes which it goes in, because I'm going to spark it up and get a bit of nice warm air to come through. And if it drops in temperature even tonight, just before I go to bed, then for sure I'll turn it on just to heat it up and take the chill out the air. And don't worry, windows are slightly open, carbon monoxide alarm is working, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I should wake up in the morning.
But as night deepened, strange sounds started. That is when he realized he wasn't getting much sleep. About 100 meters away, cars revved in circles, tires screeching on the gravel as kids did donuts. Music blasted from their speakers, loud beats echoing through the trees.
I don't think I'm going to be getting much sleep tonight. There are people about 100 meters away, blazing music out. At least some good songs anyway. And some people screaming. Wish me luck, everybody.
Then came the screams, sharp and wild, cutting through the chill. Will lay still, listening. The forest loomed just outside, branches rustling in the wind. He tried to read a book about mountain climbing to distract himself, but the noises pulled him back. The cold bit harder, making him cocoon in his sleeping bag. He thought about sparking his gas stove for warmth, but held off for now. It got a bit harder as he could still hear some music in the distance. He finally said his goodnight and went to sleep. The screams faded eventually, replaced by silence.
You probably wouldn't believe that it is actually 7:30 and it's pitch black outside. Decided to get the gas stove warmed up just to take the chill out the air and get a bit warmer because it's freezing. Right now it's 1 degree and it certainly felt like that in the middle of the night, but it wasn't actually too bad because I sort of cocooned myself underneath the sleeping bag. But I just can't believe how dark it is at 7:30. That's the problem with the English winter now, is the fact that you lose so much light in the day. It gets dark around 3:30 with the sun setting, and now the sun won't rise till around 8:30, 9 o'clock. But I will slowly get up after the cars got a bit warmer. I think the gas is actually struggling.
Will drifted off, the car his small shelter against the freezing night. By morning, it was still pitch black outside. He woke to 1 degree, his breath visible, and lit the stove to chase away the frost. The car park was empty now, the sun just peeking up with a pink haze.
Nobody in the car park. The sun is just starting to come up, which I'll show you in a second. I'll get the drone up and I'll show you exactly where I stayed. This was the spot last night. A really good night's sleep, you know, considering for the first half an hour, 45 minutes, there was all those kids blazing out music and doing donuts. It wasn't good to get to sleep, but once I did sleep, it wasn't too bad.
Looking back, the night had been cold and restless, but he'd made it through. It started simply a solo camping trip. Angelo just wanted to prove he wasn't afraid. Maybe catch something on camera to shut down all the ghost stories people swapped about those woods. Sure, folks talked about weird sounds and shapes in the trees, but nobody ever brought back real evidence.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new spooky adventure. New adventure, old place. We are back at the Happy Valley Tract. Last time I was here was actually a couple of weeks ago with Frank, and we had quite the experience. If you haven't seen that video, would highly recommend going to watch it. This place is very spooky. I'm gonna explain some of the stories about this location.
He had poked around so-called haunted places before and never felt much. But stepping into that forest, he could tell right away this place was different. It almost felt like the woods were watching him, just waiting. He got to Happy Valley Tract right before the sun dipped, the ground still slick from last night's rain. Fog hugged the trails, thick enough that he couldn't see far. Birds had gone quiet, and the only sound was the wind threading between the trees.
Screw that. Damn, this place is spooky. What the? I swear I just heard somebody like holler. Hello?
He set up camp by an old creek bed, started recording, and waited as night crept in. For a while, nothing happened. It was almost boring until he heard something moving, just faint, barely there.
It's fine for now. The sounded like something was like running. Literally almost right on the trail. I don't see anything though. That was creepy.
His camera caught it, a sound, close and careful. It wasn't just the wind kicking up or a branch dropping. Something shuffled around slow and steady and was gone as fast.
Is there anything here? Okay, that was that sound again. What in the is that? That was right behind me.
Angelo swung his flashlight through the dark but saw nothing. The air felt colder, heavy enough that he tasted it in each breath. He kept the camera rolling. He was sure if he waited long enough, whatever it was would step out of the shadows. Soon, everything was different. The woods didn't feel empty anymore. They felt alive, almost like they were breathing. The wind just stopped, dead still. But Angelo kept hearing something weaving between the trunks every now and then. Every time he spun around, the noise froze. The silence pressed in.
Okay. That was it again.
You could hear it in his voice on the recording. He sounded tense, almost desperate, but still went on.
Whoa, what the Camera. I just saw someone standing there.
A little while later, something showed up on camera that made him stop cold. Between two trees, right at the edge of his flashlight beam, stood this tall something or someone wearing a cloak, just standing there. When he moved the light, it vanished. He told himself it was a trick. Maybe the lens caught something weird. But then, he steadied the camera, but he could still hear some sounds. Back at his camp, he still had a plan of staying the night. But unfortunately for him, he had a stomachache and pondered if he should head back. Slowly, he unzipped his tent and headed out. Even then, he could be seen bending over as he felt sick. He tried to pack up as fast as he could, hands shaking, fumbling with his stuff. That was when the sounds came back.
I keep hearing so many noises. I'm trying to pack up as fast as possible, but these pains keep coming and going, and I can't move that fast at the moment.
They didn't last long, and it made his decision to go back sound like a good idea. The camera caught his flashlight jerking all over, his boots thudding against the dirt as he went back to the car park, leaving the haunted track behind. Even then, he heard a yell, but this time, he didn't go back to see what it was.
Okay. Yell. Normally I'd say let's go and check what the hell it was.
All the way back, he mentioned not seeing any cars or campers when he came in. So, who was making those noises? He went back unscathed, but obviously shaken. Angelo went out there to prove the stories were fake. Instead, he ended up with proof that something in those woods wasn't human. And whatever it was, it didn't stay behind. What started as a chill solo campout in southern Ontario quickly turned into one of the wildest nights ever caught on Davy's dash. The video followed Davy as he picked a quiet spot by the river. He was all about simplicity. No tent, just a sleeping bag on the ground, the river nearby, and nothing but open sky overhead.
And I've stayed in this area before because right there, that log is where I tied the kayak to try to sleep in it that night. I stayed on that side. And on that side, I also filmed a wet cedar or a wet New Year's Eve under the cedars.
At first, everything was calm. Davy showed off his minimalist setup, a Coleman bag, a thermarest mat, and a backpack stashed under a log. He was alone, soaking it in, sipping a beer as night settled. Just him and the ground, and surrounded by nature. It felt peaceful, but you can almost sense something was coming.
From 2016, my Pro Light regular, and then I just have the footprint for my tent. And that's camp. Oh, I also have my Thermarest Airhead pillow there, and kitchen.
Davy started tying up his gear, making sure no one sneaked up and swiped his stuff. If anyone tries to nick my stuff, they'll have to pull it out from under me. It was a joke, but looking back, it hits different. The camera lingered on him lying down by the stream, everything quiet. And then, everything flipped. The tone snapped. Suddenly, at 11 p.m., somebody called him out in the dark.
Do you need my light to help you get out of here?
No.
No? You know how to get out?
Would you mind just giving me a few minutes? I'm still in my sleeping bag.
Why are you in your sleeping bag? You knew there was somebody in a tent here. You knew that. Do you think they're going to feel comfortable falling asleep in the middle of the night with a stranger 20 feet away? Do you honestly think that? The answer is no. And you wouldn't feel comfortable either, would you?
All right,
no, you wouldn't. Fair enough. Fair enough.
My apologies.
That's fair enough, mate.
My apologies. I will push on.
Davy sounded groggy, freaked out, and barely awake. The camera picked up the tension as he spotted a stranger in the dark just 10 feet away, gripping two metal pipes. After apologizing, Davy ended up leaving that spot as fast as possible.
It is sometime after 11, and yeah, I made it back to the road. But where do I go? Do I hike all the way home? Probably isn't a bad idea.
Soon, realization shocked him. If he hadn't woken up, who knows what would have happened to him in the night? Davy's voice was filled with adrenaline. He was shaken, and he was not hiding it. Davy hustled through the woods in the dark, breathing heavily, muttering about how close it got. He debated going back, anger bubbling up, but survival won out. He could have had me, he said. There's nothing I could have done. He relaxed a bit. Coyotes howl somewhere out there while he finds a new spot, a hollow tree, just enough for shelter. He dropped his pack, sighed, and seemed exhausted. It took him around an hour to finally calm down. From a quiet night to pure chaos, this episode of Davy's Dash laid it all out. The razor-thin line between peaceful solitude and sudden danger when you're alone in the wild. 1 second, you're just camping. Next, you're in survival mode. This next experience is shared by the novice wild camper. Under the fading light of a late October evening, a camper ventured into an unfamiliar woodland for a stealthy hammock camp. He'd never been here before, a quiet forest about half an hour from his home with no signs or paths to guide him. He found a spot between two sturdy trees, their green branches promising a good hold for his hammock. The air was cool, the ground damp from recent storms, and a few houses stood about 300 yards away, barely visible through the trees. He set up his gear, including a new O-Light lantern to test, its warm glow casting a soft light as the sun dipped below the horizon. As darkness settled, the woods came alive with sounds. Chestnuts fell from the trees, thudding against the ground like heavy footsteps. The camper tried to relax, sipping a beer and starting a small fire with wax-coated firelighters. But the noises grew stranger, not just the usual snaps of twigs or rustling of leaves. He soon realized that he needed to stay low, as there were some people around, and he didn't know if they were dangerous or not.
Right, so I'm keeping my voice low, because I'm sure there's some people around here. Keep hearing some weird noises, and not just crunches and cracks, but weird vocal noises as well. Anyway, but you turn it on, you got a nice warm. See what I mean? It's probably him making all that bloody noise. Oh, I'm gonna get some wood cut, ready for my stove. I've got these little fire lighters, fire plugs. Go quite quickly. The wood is pretty wet around here. There's been a lot of rain obviously recently, been a few storms. So hopefully it will take and it'll burn. We will see. Cheers. Right, well it is well and truly dark now, so I'm going to go and get the fire on, and then I'm going to get some food, sit by the fire and have a little snack.
He heard odd vocalizations, not quite human, not quite animal, drifting through the trees. Shaking it off, he crawled into his hammock, the lantern's glow fading as he tried to sleep. But around 3 a.m., rain began to patter, and the noises intensified. Crashes grew closer, as if something was circling his hammock. Every time he moved or shone his torch, the sound stopped, but no footsteps fled. As the rain began, he heard noises that he could not figure out who they belonged to, but those sounds did not recede.
And 3 o'clock, it just started hammering it down with rain. That's not the issue. I sort of fell asleep to the sound of chestnuts crashing through the trees and hitting the deck. And it's the same sound every time, sort of crunch, 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 thump. After the rain started, I could just hear, and I know these are deer, muntjac, badgers, squirrels, whatever.
Then came a jarring thud. A rock hit the ground near his hammock, followed by another and another.
But some crashing around that got nearer and nearer and nearer to my hammock. And every time I moved or got out to check, it stopped but didn't run away. So I'd expect if there was a deer or something, I'd hear it run off.
The camper unzipped his hammock, torch in hand, and found a rock that hadn't been there before. Minutes later, a large branch struck his tarp, bending it down onto his hammock before rolling off. No snap of breaking wood, just the sudden crash. And what he found in the morning was something he had not seen before going to sleep.
But the weirdest thing was, the rain started to die down. So it was just a tiny pitter-patter. And suddenly by my hammock.
Freaked out, he couldn't stay. He packed up in the pitch-black woods, struggling to find his car. By 4 a.m., he was back inside it, waiting for sunrise. At dawn, he returned to his camp and found his water bottle knocked over, and the trees around him shook violently with no visible cause.
At camp, everything's as it was, apart from my water bottle, which is crushed on the floor, which is a bit weird. This is seriously the weirdest forest I've ever camped in. I got back here and I'm standing here, and then suddenly the tree next to me just crashes, like if a bird suddenly flew out of it, like it was startled.
As he packed up in daylight, another crash sent a branch rolling toward him. Shaken, he hurried to his car. At the edge of the woods, a man walking by noticed him and asked if he'd camped there. When he nodded, the man laughed, saying, "You're brave. People have done it before. No one's lasted." He walked off, leaving him with a chill. This woodland, so close to home, was one he'd never return to.